What's up, guys? So, Coach Jake here, and I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about something I saw in the comments in my last video, in the how to tie your belt video. Now, somebody had typed to me, they said, Coach Jake, my kids, they go to class, they go do their jiu-jitsu, but at home, I feel like there's more that we could be doing to help them get better faster. And something that I explain to a lot of people, guys, is jiu-jitsu is a slow burn. This is not something that you're gonna get overnight, but if you're consistent and you stick with it, right, eventually you will be good, you will be proficient at the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, there are a couple things I think that not only children can benefit from, but anybody can benefit from. If you wanna get good at Jiu-Jitsu faster and expedite the process, right, then there's a couple things that we could do. So the first thing I wanna talk about is just exposure. How much have you been exposed to the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Now, a lot of times, guys, I run the kids program here at the school that I work at, and a lot of times we get kids, ages 3 years old all the way up to 16, that's our entire kids program, right, who have never seen Jiu-Jitsu be done. They've never seen it. Maybe their parents were like, oh, I want to get them involved in a martial art, and they watch the UFC, so they know, oh, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's good stuff to know. Charles Oliveira, right, Islam, they're all grapplers, so maybe we need to learn some grappling. Now, the exposure that they've had before, maybe only from UFC, where they see people getting, beat up and stuff like that, but guys, they've never ever seen a Jiu-Jitsu match. Right, and that's kind of a problem, guys. I think a lot more people should see what the sport is before we get into it and just check it out. Or even if you've been training for a while, just take a couple of minutes each day or take a couple of minutes each week. Whatever it is, just watch a match. Just go on YouTube, look up a match that you want to see and watch it. Exposure and seeing what is happening at the highest levels and how it's supposed to look is going to change how you perceive jiu-jitsu. And I think that TikTok is a great example of this, guys, because I could say, go take your arms and move them to the left, then move them back to the center, and then move them to the right, and that's how you do the Fortnite dance. Or I could show you a video, right? Boom, just like that. And now you know how to do the Fortnite dance. So guys, seeing how it's done and seeing it done well is gonna be massively influential, guys. We are visual creatures, right? If we look at what it's supposed to look like, now we have a better idea of what we should be doing on the mat. So exposing yourself or exposing your kids to high-level jiu-jitsu. I think that it's awesome if you wanna, take that next step beyond YouTube, get an account at Flow Grappling. Flow posts every tournament, every IBJJF, every ADCC, right? All the ADCC minor tournaments, like they're not trials, the opens. All the opens are on Flow now. And those are great tournaments to watch, guys. I know the Pedigo Submission Fighter guys, they all go there. A lot of my teammates go over there. A lot of Gracie Baja guys, right? But that's another thing, is exposure. Now, if you want to take it to the next level of exposure, go to a tournament. In your gym, there's probably somebody who's a competitor, and they go out to tournaments all the time, be it IBJJF or your local tournament that is just being thrown at some local gym. Either way, going to a tournament and watching it and seeing what's happening, or bring your kids to that tournament, right? Now they're gonna be exposed to, wow, look at this. This is a stadium full of people that are all here to watch that thing that I go do 3 times a week with Coach whoever, with Coach Billy, you know what I mean? They're gonna be like, wow, this is crazy. I didn't know it was like this. They've never seen it. Guys, we need to see that it's real, and this is a real sport. This is a real thing that you can get into. Now that leads me to my next point. Watching tournaments is amazing, and like I said, if you wanna get the Flow Grappling, thing, chingadera, then you can go ahead and sign up for Flow Grappling. But another thing, guys, is I bet 90% of you guys out there, right? You have a favorite sports team. For my family, right, my mom and dad, they love the Dodgers. They watch every Dodgers game. They know every Dodgers player. They know the whole lineup from the last 20 to 30 years, right? Or you have your favorite football team if it's like the Seahawks. I think that's a football team. Or your favorite hockey team. Guys, the same way that you see people behave around football and hockey and baseball is some way that we could think about jiu-jitsu as well. So learning when the major tournaments are, right? If you go on Flow and you watch Worlds, that's one of the best tournaments that you could possibly watch. Watching Worlds, watching the ADCC, watching the Pan Ams, like setting it up. Oh, there's a tournament this Sunday and it's gonna be on from this time to this time. I could skip the blue belts and the white belts tournament, but I'll watch purple to black belt, right? Because that's all the good stuff. Just don't tell the blue belts. But either way, guys, we can still manage to to set yourself up where you're like, oh, well, I was gonna go do this, but you know what? Worlds is on, I've gotta stay home and watch Worlds. And then you have your favorite fighters, right? Maybe you learn a couple of athletes that you're a big fan of, you like their style, maybe you watch an interview with them and you're like, oh, I like this guy a lot, right? One of my favorite athletes, of course, everyone loves Gordon, everyone likes to watch his interviews, everyone likes to watch his matches. We study his matches. Now, after that, guys, when it comes to getting better at home, what we could also be doing is, if you really have the budget for it and you think that you have the discipline, or your children have the discipline, right? You can always buy instructionals. Now, there's a million instructionals that you could buy, from the Danaher tapes all the way down to Helena Jiu-Jitsu Girl has her own jiu-jitsu tapes, takedowns for dummies, or whatever it is. My professor, Kendall Rusing, she's got her expert level wrestling for jiu-jitsu. Guys, excellent idea to just take the little extra, guys, buy one of these instructionals, study it, watch it every day. Go watch 5 minutes of it every day. Instead of turning on Real Housewives or 90 Day Fiance, or I don't know what people watch nowadays, watch your instructional, right? And then you maybe even do that thing where you like play it in the background, fall asleep, you know? For me, this is something that's kind of, you guys are gonna get to know me a little bit. Every day when I get home, I turn on Seinfeld, right? I watch Seinfeld on Netflix. I don't even really watch it. It's on in the background. And guess what? What I learned was I was spending a whole lot of time watching Seinfeld, and Seinfeld isn't getting me better at jiu-jitsu. So what did I do instead? I just turned on BJJ Fanatics, right? I just turned on the Danaher tapes, and it's just on in the background, and you hear him talking in a soft voice, and the thing about the Ashigarami position. And then you're like, oh yeah, you know what? Inside control from the Ashigarami position, that just makes perfect sense. So exposure, tapes. Now, what else can we do? We can also drill at home. Now, a lot of people don't like to drill at home. I don't like to drill at home, but I train 2 to 3 times a day, depending on the day. So I really don't need to drill at home. But if you have a brother, or if your children you have multiple children, a brother, sister, somebody else who does jiu-jitsu, that is perfect. They have the perfect person, the perfect buddy to just practice moves on, to practice things that they just saw. Oh, excuse me. So, guys, drilling at home, right? If you don't have a bunch of kids, maybe you could get a grappling dummy, right? So I'll go ahead and link one in the bio down below. So, guys, a grappling dummy is great. You can do a lot of work. You can drill your arm bars over and over and over. You can drill your passes over and over, and try kind of get used to building that muscle memory. Even though it's not the best thing in the world, it is something that adds a little bit onto our game. Now, after that, there are always solo drills. One of my favorite solo drills is called shadow wrestling. Now, my team does this a whole lot, where at the beginning and end of a hard training session, guys, we'll just take 2 to 5 minutes, get into our stance, and my coach usually calls it out, right? He might say sprawl, boom, we sprawl. He might say shoot, boom, we shoot, right? He might say down block, boom, we down block, or we circle, boom, just like that. Getting used to staying moving and doing this solo drill is gonna be beneficial to you as well. If anything, you're gonna learn how to have a good sprawl, how to sprawl on a command, and you just get that muscle memory, guys. You're like, oh yeah, it's time to sprawl. So, after that, one thing that I'm a huge advocate for, and maybe it's not super common, but I think everyone should be going to seminars, right? Seminars that aren't even for the sport of jiu-jitsu. Maybe through the grapevine you hear that there's a wrestling camp that you can go to, right? Go do a little bit of wrestling. That is not gonna hurt your jiu-jitsu. That is not gonna hurt you as a competitor. Having good wrestling is massively important now. Guys, the game has changed in the last 5 years. You need wrestling. You absolutely need wrestling. You need to have a good double leg. You need to have good body lock. You need to be able to clinch, right? Outside of that, guys, maybe there's a judo camp. right? Oh yeah, you know what, my throws are pretty bad, but now you go to a judo camp, you learn from some Olympic judoka, and now you've got a pretty good judo throw. Nice Haraya Goshi, that's my favorite throw. Now, on top of that, guys, let me tell you what got me really exceptionally good at foot sweeps is Muay Thai. Now, maybe you do jiu-jitsu, not for the sport aspect, but you do it for self-defense. Now, if you do this game for self-defense, guys, this is one of the best ones you can know. But you need to know, there with no lie, like some people will lie to you, like, oh, jiu-jitsu is all you need to know. No, that's absolutely wrong. You need to be able to take somebody down. You need to be able to double leg them or throw them on the ground, and you need to be able to knock somebody out if you have to. Bink, right? You need to be able to shut them off. So I think that Muay Thai is one of the most exceptional martial arts that you can get involved in, right? And not only that, on top of that, Muay Thai sweeps, boom, right? Muay Thai sweeps are insanely good. They're really good at sweeping people. So guys, when I started doing Muay Thai and after training for a couple years, my foot sweep game just exploded. I've been foot sweeping everybody since I started training in Muay Thai. So adding a little bit here, I'm not saying go get 10 gym memberships. Now I've got a few gym memberships, so I think it's valuable for me to know it. But if you just see like, oh, Dan Henderson, that gym is throwing a Muay Thai kids camp. You know what? I'm gonna send my kid to this Muay Thai camp. Just go learn a little bit of Muay Thai, see what he knows. It's not gonna hurt him. No matter what, learn or whatever it is, guys, it's not going to hurt. Knowing that is gonna be massively more valuable later down the line. And if it doesn't make him a killer foot sweeper or a deadly striker, at least he's more efficient than most other people are. He's been exposed to it. And guys, that brings us back full circle, exposure. So what are some of the points that we just did? So getting better at home for you or your children, guys, exposure. Show them what the martial art looks like, what it looks like when people actually do it, when people who do it actually do it, right? You maybe have seen, Black Widow do some flying triangle, leg throw type weird thing in a movie, or you can see what Otavio Sousa was doing, 10 years ago, or you can see what Gordon did this year, or you could just go down the timeline, guys, see what all these people are doing, what the highest level is doing, and try to implement it into your game. Seeing it happen is going to change how you do it in the future, guys. So exposure is a big one. If you want extra work, guys, I love extra work. Extra work at home, drilling at home, right? I'm not gonna say that's the key to getting good at jiu-jitsu, but look, it is not going to hurt you at all. If anything, it's gonna add a little step, right? Every day we're just getting 1% better. Guys, if I can get 1.1% better, at the end of the year, that's 360, I don't know math. If you know the math, please tell me in the comments, that's 400% better, I think, I don't know. 368% better. Yeah, if you know that, if you can solve that math equation, please type it in the comments. And while we're talking about comments, guys, go ahead, like, subscribe, comment on what you would like to see me make a video on later. The next video we post is gonna be a foot sweep video, so I have a foot sweep tutorial coming out. I'm gonna try to get that out on Thursday. So this is coming out Tuesday. Thursday we'll have the foot sweep tutorial. I'll show you some of my favorite foot sweeps and how we can hit them a lot better. Other than that, guys, I'll see you later. Keep training. Y'all have a good night.